Okay, folks. So today we're doing a deep dive into something a little different.
Uh-huh.
A game called Zig-Zag.
Okay.
We got this document here describing it.
Interesting.
And at first glance, it just seems like your typical game of bat and ball, you know,
Right.
running fielding.
Yeah.
But as we dig deeper,
Yeah.
we're going to uncover all this cool stuff
Mm-hmm.
about how much learning can actually be packed into something that's seemingly pretty simple.
I like that. I like that. Simple to learn,
Right.
but maybe difficult to master.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how about you give us a quick rundown of just the basics of this Zig-Zag game?
Sure. So Zigzag is really intriguing because it takes, like you said, those familiar elements of, baseball or softball,
Yeah.
hitting the ball, running
Bases?
bases, yeah, but it adds this whole other layer of strategic movement.
Ooh.
You're not just running straight to first base, second base.
Right.
It's more complex than that.
Gotcha. So like walk us through it. So you've got your batter.
Yeah.
You've got your fielders, I'm assuming, scattered about the field.
Yeah.
But then instead of, like you said, running to first,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening?
Well, that's where the zigzagging comes in.
Okay.
So the batter,
Yeah.
instead of running in a straight line to a base, they have to zig and zag across the field
Got it.
to reach a designated point or maybe even like an object.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So that adds a whole nother element to it,
Absolutely.
besides just hitting the ball.
It's like a built-in spatial awareness challenge.
Okay.
You've got to think about,
Yeah.
okay, what's my route going to be?
Right.
Where are the fielders?
Yeah.
How do I avoid them?
How do I get there the fastest?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to adjust your movements based on what's happening around you.
So it's kind of a more dynamic game.
Very dynamic.
It's not
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
set positions
That's exactly.
and then run to first, run to second.
Right.
I like that. Now, I also noticed in the document here that there's like some key tips for the batters. It says
Yeah.
be ready to hit, use the correct grip focus on the ball.
Basics.
It's like they're embedding almost like
Yeah.
tiny little mini lessons on preparation and technique
Absolutely.
in the
It's
right.
It's like those fundamental skills
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
need no matter what you're doing.
Right. And this is like,
Whether it's sports or
right.
even like life in general.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, even in a fun game like this,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, you still got to have a little focus and discipline.
You got to have the fundamentals.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what really caught my eye was this emphasis on feedback in the game.
Ooh, interesting. Tell me more.
Like, every hit, every run, every catch, or every miss.
Right.
It's like you're getting instant feedback on what you just did.
It's like the game is talking back to you in a way.
Right. It's
Yeah.
telling you, hey, you did this right.
Yeah.
Or, hey, maybe you want to adjust that.
Exactly.
So it's like constant learning built right in.
It's like every action has a consequence.
Yeah.
And you immediately see what that consequence is.
And then you can adjust.
You can adjust your strategy. You can,
Yeah.
try something different next time.
It's like a little mini experiment every time you play.
I like that. Mini experiment.
Yeah, totally. And it's all wrapped up in this fun game.
And it's so natural.
Right. It's not like you're sitting down with a textbook.
Exactly.
Just playing.
You're playing and learning.
Exactly. Now, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the fielders.
Okay, yeah.
Because this document also has some really interesting focus questions
Yeah.
that are like directed at the kids who are playing in the field.
Oh, cool.
Things like, where are the spaces? How can you cover the most ground?
It's almost like they're getting a mini lesson in strategy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, I'm out here in the field, I got to catch the ball.
It's about thinking ahead.
It's like there's this whole other layer of thinking that they're being encouraged to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you have to think about where the batter might go
Right.
and how you can best position yourself.
How can you anticipate their moves?
It's almost like a game of chess in a way.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's a lot more cerebral than I initially thought.
It is. It's a lot more than just reacting to the ball.
Right. It's like you're constantly planning and adjusting.
It's like you said, dynamic.
Yes. Very dynamic. And speaking of adjusting the document, also mentions some really interesting variations for younger children.
Oh, cool.
So like simplifying the zigzag pattern.
Oh, okay.
Maybe just focusing on like catching and throwing basics.
So it's like they're scaffolding the learning,
Exactly.
meeting kids where they are.
It's like they're making sure that the game is accessible to everyone,
Right.
no matter their skill level.
So everyone can have fun and be successful.
Exactly. And that leads me to something that I found really powerful in the document.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
There's this quote that talks about how Zig-Zag exposes players
Hmm.
to many more opportunities than other players.
Interesting.
And they have to make a lot of decisions
Mm-hmm.
under pressure.
So it's not just physical.
Right. It's like this mental agility thing that's going on.
Decision-making under pressure.
Wow.
Those are valuable skills.
And that got me thinking,
Yeah.
how does this zigzag thinking apply to real life?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
How often do we find ourselves in situations where we need to make quick decisions?
All the time.
Right.
All the time.
Whether it's at work,
Yeah.
in our personal lives,
In relationships,
everywhere.
everywhere you go.
So these skills that you learn in Zig-Zag, they're actually very transferable.
So give me an example, like paint me a picture.
Okay. So let's say you're working on a project.
Okay.
And you have a tight deadline.
Happens all the time.
You have to figure out,
Yeah.
okay, what's the most important thing to do right now?
Prioritize.
Prioritize, exactly. You have to anticipate potential problems.
Right. And be ready to adjust your approach if things change.
Be flexible.
Be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a zigzag player navigating the field.
So it's like that constant adaptation.
Just an adaptation.
That's the key takeaway here.
It's a key takeaway for sure.
So even in a simple game like this,
Yeah.
we're getting some really valuable life lessons.
Yeah, you are.
It makes you wonder,
It does.
where else in our lives could we benefit from this zigzag thinking?
That's the question, isn't it?
It really is.
Where can we be more adaptable,
Mm-hmm.
more strategic in our thinking?
Should we actively seek out those opportunities to be challenged in that way?
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should.
Because sometimes the most valuable lessons come from the most unexpected places.
Right. Like a simple game of Zig-Zag.
Exactly.
I love it. Food for thought for everyone out there.
Definitely.
Think about it. Where can you zigzag a little bit more in your own life?
Embrace the zigzag.
There you go.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. This is fun. Absolutely.
All right, folks, until next time,
See ya.
keep on zigzagging.
Bye.